If you're doing a spin-off, and I think they did a really, really good job in this. If you're doing a spin-off and you have to bring in the parts of the show that you're spinning off from, like the main character, to make the spin-off work, then the spin-off should never be done in the first place.
I have no problem with the way that Oswald is just like, stumbling and bumbling through this entire thing and like somehow making it out on the other end clean. Like, I have no problem with that at all.
I will say Sophia did an amazing job.
Yes.
And this whole season, amazing. I love the way that she progressed, the way that she grew.
The scene where the explosion happened and like Penguin is literally like rising from the ashes was a fantastic visual. Like just the camera work, the camera work in that alone. He's covered in dust, there's chaos, people are dead. He's making his way through it.
That guy is nuts.
Yeah.
He killed his brothers so he can have his mom.
To himself.
All to himself.
Yep.
And then is like obsessing with dancing with his mom.
Yep.
But it's a hooker.
You brought in the two main villains, the two mob bosses. Outside, because you're dealing with the mob world. Yes. Outside of that, nothing in the DC world is brought up in this show, and you know it's a Batman show. But let's get into the meat of what you wanted to talk about, because I'm excited about this.
So we've all seen Penguin, the finale. What did we think? Series as a whole. Where are we? How you feel about? Okay.
I loved it.
Okay, that's you.
I absolutely loved it.
I will say this. My comments about Victor, whatever, were based off of what other people were saying. Like, oh, well, it's just a new take on Victor Zsasz. I'm like, well, that's a really odd take. And that's why I kept saying, like, it's really strange they would take this stuttering, kind of stuttering kid and make him into Victor Zsasz. But when people were talking about it, I kind of jumped in and said, like, well, I guess I just didn't catch on. That must be Victor Zsasz, because, like, who else would it be? Victor, being a bad guy in a sense. And he clearly, when we see this, was not Victor Zsasz.
But I can understand why people would think that, because when you clearly the show wanted you to believe that this is a villain origin story. Like that's clearly what they were going for. I don't think there's any dispute there. And the final thing that happens to him when he Penguin kills him, it's like, whoa, that was way out of left field. I didn't see it coming at all. I did not think that was going to happen. When he in the finale, not the finale, but when he vanishes, like, come on, kid, you got to get out of here. The Maronis are coming. Go out the window, get out of here. I thought that was going to be the last that we were going to see of him. And whatever that character was going to be was like in the background, blah, blah, blah. They show up somewhere later in Batman, whatever. Like, that's kind of what the show was hinting towards. Because you knew, like the show's spending this entire time hinting towards, does he want to be around Penguin? He doesn't want to be around Penguin. He's scared for his life. Is Penguin going to try to screw him over in some way? Or what's going to happen here? And all this money and like the blisters, like the drugs and everything. And it's like, you're telling an origin story for a villain, or an origin story for some type of hero, whatever like that, to come back in the end and something's gonna happen between him and Penguin. I did not see Penguin just flat out killing him at all. I didn't see it coming.
Neither did I. And I was expecting, with Sophia, I was not expecting what happened to her to happen to her.
No.
I was half expecting him to go through with the whole thing, and then he just walks away, and I was like, no, wait a minute. That is not at all what was supposed to happen. But I thought that this show was fantastic through and through from beginning to end. Sure. I thought Colin Farrell nailed it.
Yeah.
I think that it was great. I think that they set up great for the next Batman movie with the Batman symbol in the sky. At the end. It is slated now for 2026. So
It's not bad.
there is already casting for it. I think that they should have done 2025 or at least the end of it with rolling off of the heels of this, not wait 2
Mm.
years.
They should have.
But
They should have had like a movie ready, like not like complete, but like at
like in
least like
post.
exactly by the time the Penguin ends, Batman is in post production. Like that's kind of like, but yeah, waiting a
Because
year,
if I was
that's a bit
Colin Farrell
much.
yeah, if I was Colin Farrell, it would have probably been easier to act as Penguin
Yeah,
straight through versus now he has to take a year break and then go back and because he's coming
especially
back as the big bad in the next movie.
of course,
Mm.
especially when you
Yeah.
like go into some of the interviews that he's done recently. I would not be surprised if he never wants to put on that suit again. Like for him to sit in that chair for 5, 10 plus
Hours.
hours, putting all that makeup and the prosthetics and everything else. Like he said that he really didn't like that process and he doesn't want to do this anymore. So I'm just like, but you're gonna come back and do it in a year and a half or
Batman 2.
whatever it is. Okay, all right.
And it's called The Batman 2.
I
Such a bad name.
it is. I do
It's
not.
so lame.
I do not like that they're making Selena Kyle's half sister to Sophia. I don't like that at all.
I don't
That's
like it
so
either.
stupid. It's such a dumb idea. For what reason?
I
Why?
can't even do it.
Why?
I can't
So
even mimic the teeth. Can't do it. I'll never forget when you and I were talking about you get this girl with the teeth. At the exact moment, you're like, I just found a picture of her, and it's all just like it's a wall of teeth, like
Yeah.
17 teeth are all in the front, and it's like they're gonna make another Selena Kyle, but she's got a wall of teeth. I will say Sophia did an amazing job.
yes.
And this whole season, amazing. I love the way that she progressed, the way that she grew, the way that everything went, and I love the way that it ended. And somehow Oswald hobbled off and wasn't heard. Whatever. How she couldn't hear that,
Sure.
and then it's just like, okay, cops. But
Yeah.
I mean, I'm trying not to be spoilerific, but
No, I mean it's out by
I
now.
think
Full spoilers.
yeah, I get it.
Full
I get it.
spoiler warning. There you go.
But I mean, honestly, I think I love the way that everything ended, but I was very disappointed in the way that he just like what he did with Vic.
Yeah.
That's the biggest issue. That's the only issue I have. I thought everything else was like wow, like really good. Somebody I was just talking about or talking to yesterday, I went to a celebration of life, and somebody had the Lewy body. That's what it is, Lewy body, right? Is what his mother had. It was a type of dementia,
Sure.
Lewy body disease.
Sure.
It's very similar. There's the dementia of like forgetting where you are, but there's the additional part which makes it the Lewy body, which is literally your body shuts down and you forget how to walk, how to you can't do anything. Like basically, you're just paralyzed.
Okay, so that poses a question for me. Is at the end, I know it's his mother, but who is like? It would make more sense if this was if this was something in her mind happening, but this is him. Who is he dancing with at the end?
He's dancing with his girlfriend there.
Yeah, his girlfriend hooker.
She's dressed up like him or dressed up like her, so he can fantasize about being, okay, listen, I'm going to say
this. They
this.
made it look a lot like her mom, as like his mom
that
younger.
Was the point. That was the point.
That's creepy.
That
was literally the point.
That's the literal point. You know what? And
we talked about Andor. We talked about a mama's boy. I'm sorry, but Oswald Cobb is the ultimate mama's boy. 100% beyond the dude from Andor. Like he is 117%.
Yeah,
I know that's a number that doesn't make
not
sense,
a number,
but the point is, no, that guy is nuts.
Yeah.
He killed his brothers so he can have his mom
to himself.
All to himself.
Yep.
And then is like obsessing with dancing with his mom.
Yep.
But it's a hooker.
Yeah.
I mean,
if there's one thing that I'll give to the show, and it's something that I kind of disagree with you about, Lee, it's I'm glad that the show didn't go full force to make him like this over the top sympathetic villain. Because for the first little while of the show, it was trying to do that for a while. But then at the end, when he kills Vic and he's keeping his mother alive, and now he's dancing with a prostitute that's like pseudo mom. Like the whole thing is just like it ends with him being the ultimate villain of Gotham now, and I really like that. It was fantastic. If the show just ended on like a happy note, like Oswald and Vic are gonna like walk off into the sunset, and they're like the new like crime underlords, like that would have been no. I don't think I would have liked that. I much prefer.
I have a question.
I much prefer establishing him as like the big bad now. Go for it.
Yeah, did Oswald Cobb as the bad guy, as the mama's boy, did he ever kiss the girl? I don't remember that.
No.
No, because it just doesn't happen to bad guys, does it?
No.
It doesn't happen to bad guys.
We don't,
especially when they're the main story. It just doesn't happen to
we don't
bad
know
guys.
that. We don't know this. We do not know this, okay? There is a lot more going on. There's so much more going on. This is so different from what's going on in Andor right now.
Of course it's different. Of course it's different because bad guy.
Yeah.
Bad guy, bad guy.
But it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
Mama's boy.
That one got me.
I can't wait. I can't wait.
Of course you can. Of course you can.
So to get $100.
Okay. There was one other thing that I wanted to bring out. I'll wait for Lee to get back. But yeah.
No, I'm gonna say this to you. I'm gonna say this even before he gets back. It blows my mind that this is Colin Farrell. Like this is Colin Farrell.
Yeah. 100%.
This is not. Yeah. This is not. Gary Oldman. This is Colin Farrell. He's not supposed to be this good.
But he is. He's
amazing.
He's fantastic.
He did the same people, did the same directors who directed the Batman direct the Penguin?
No.
I doubt it.
I don't think so.
Because it looks like it was filmed. Like they have different shots, like when they're behind the car or behind the wheel of a motorcycle and they're driving. It's those same shots that they do in the Batman.
You know what? That's something
that was the idea.
That it was trying really hard, but there was a point they were trying too hard, and it's when Oswald and Maroni are in the car, the train. And he like drops out of a heart attack. I got you. Like they do the same thing over again, like from the movie. That didn't need to happen. That was a little too much nail on the head for me. I was like, oh, you could have found a more like. I have no problem with them dropping of a heart attack. I have no problem with the way that Oswald is just like, stumbling and bumbling through this entire thing and like somehow making it out on the other end clean. Like I have no problem with that at all. Just like the dumb luck that this guy finds himself in sometimes. But the I got you, like that whole thing. Come on. That didn't need that was a little bit much for me. I do like a few episodes before the finale how there is a call out to Danny DeVito when he grabs the pliers and shoves it in the guy's nose, and it's just like and when he just like releases the pliers, it's just like an explosion of blood that comes out of this guy's nose. I'm like, that is awesome. That is such a DeVito reference if I've ever seen one.
Oh
and
yeah,
it's just your nose. Don't worry about it. Like, it was awesome. It was awesome.
I
loved it.
Yeah. Me too.
Oh, hold on. Oh, so I
mean, his nose wasn't gushing blood.
No,
not
but
like my ear.
No, but it was enough that like, DeVito.
Yeah.
It was enough to make you think DeVito. So that was what was important to me.
I didn't show
Okay, so Matt Reeves, the director of The Batman,
correct,
was the producer for the Penguin. He was the executive producer.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's why there was a lot of similarities put into this. It feels the same because he made it so that, and he helped produce the Batman as well too. But because that's why there's such a similar feel between the Penguin and the Batman.
I will say this too. This is the best looking Gotham.
Yes.
out of everything that's been live action. This is the best looking Gotham because it works in both the daylight and the night. Like, it works in both settings. I love this Gotham. I love the ghettos. I love the scenery. I love the skyscapes, the skyline of everything. I thought everything about this Gotham hit. It was, oh my god, I love, especially the final thing where it's like the bomb goes off and there's just all this chaos. It was fantastic. I
Perfect.
loved it. I absolutely loved it. Oh,
I have a question. What do you think of Sophia's transformation over the eight episodes? Like her haircut shit changes every other episode. I didn't like that.
I don't think it was her haircut. I think it was just more the way it was styled.
sure.
No, she went from long hair to short
Mullet.
hair on top, long hair on the bottom type style.
It was mullety, yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, but she started off with long hair. And then by the 6th or 7th episode, it became shorter and shorter and shorter. But what do you think of her as Sophia? Did we like her? Did we?
I thought she was great.
I thought she was, yeah, I thought she was great, especially when she's like at the hospital talking to that little girl about how she killed everybody in the house. Like that,
Mhm.
that alone like sold her character for me. Because I don't know,
Menacing.
just if you're gonna build a villain like this, go all out. Don't hold back.
Mm.
Don't, sugarcoat or tap around anything. Do it. And
Yeah.
it was
And they did.
it was fantastic.
Yeah.
She's a fantastic actress. She was an amazing villain for this series. I already said before I could have done without the whole, oh, Selena Kyle's your half sister. Like,
Yeah.
I could have done without that. But aside from everything else, like her character and her transformation from like, especially when you get to the flashback episode where you like experience like her going through Arkham.
Who she was before.
Yeah, it's fantastic. I even like that we never get a definitive answer on who the Hangman is. Was it her? Was it her father? Is it somebody
was
else
her-
entirely?
Oh, it was her father.
I mean, he was the one who was literally hanging people, but she
Well-
was the one who was called the Hangman because
Sure.
they went
Her
on
her father killed her mother
Yes.
Yeah, we know that.
We know that. But like,
by hanging her.
Yeah, we know that. But they
I
blamed
think
it all on
it's-
her.
yeah, but I think
All of it.
I think something in the show was implied that there were hangings even after he was dead. That's why I'm asking, like, or is it her just like picking up the mantle of the Hangman and just lying about it? Like, whatever. Yeah, that's where I'm at with. And another thing, this guy who plays this doctor from Arkham,
Yeah.
He's dead.
he's dead.
Which the one that followed her, her
Yeah.
therapist.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
he's
He
not
died.
dead. No, he didn't.
When did he die? Last time we saw him, he walked in there and gave
He
her a
gave
letter
her-
from
he-
her half
yeah.
sister, Selena Kyle.
He gave her the letter in like the black envelope that's from Selena.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's not
He
dead.
didn't go- The one that like gave up his job at the hospital and
Yes.
became like her lover.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Yes.
he's not dead.
Uh-huh.
He's back
He
at the
showed
hospital,
back up
white
and
coat,
handed-
and says,
Did you
"Here's a
watch the
letter
last
for you. I
episode?
think you might want to
I
read
did.
this."
I don't think
And
that
then
was him.
That
No, it was
100%
100%.
100%.
That was the whole point.
I
Yep.
don't.
I thought the thing.
Yeah.
Well, while you look that up to like confirm what Lee and I are saying, I get such like, are they gonna try to make him Scarecrow?
They could.
It fits. It just fits.
It does,
It
but
just
he
works.
never got chemical though. He was more psychologist than psychiatrist.
Okay, so his flashing red bar from Knight
Which
Rider
looked
that he got
amazing in
going
that
on
scene.
looks
Which
fantastic.
looked amazing when they did the whole scene in the club. I
But it's
really enjoyed how they
It's
did
a
that.
combination between that and Bliss that makes me think,
Mhm.
are they gonna try to make this guy Scarecrow, but a different take
Okay,
on
so-
Scarecrow?
by using Bliss.
Yeah.
They could.
I like that idea. I don't know. I thought that from the beginning when we first saw him, because I know that actor from Sons of Anarchy. He's not a nobody. I knew that he
No.
was gonna be like a big character, and you know what I mean. Like if he was just some throwaway psychologist, yeah, whatever. But they're using, and I don't know his name. I apologize, but they're using like a name for this character. So I was just thinking, ooh, that's interesting. That's a different way to do Scarecrow. That would be fantastic. Because imagine him with Bliss and that light with Bruce Wayne, like the damage that he could do to Bruce Wayne. I just think that would be, I think that would be really cool.
Could be.
Okay.
Yeah, Theo Rossi, Julian
Yes,
Rush.
thank you.
So it is him.
Yeah, it is him.
We know.
It is
Yes.
him.
Yes, it is.
I think that they're going to turn him, because it says right here, this is Den of Geek.
Yeah.
I don't know. I've never heard this website, but it says Dr. Julian Rush seemed like a welcome bit of kindness for the beleaguered Sophia locked away in Arkham. However, his soft-spoken demeanor soon revealed a lust for control, one that continued
100%.
even continued after he seemed trapped under Sophia's thumb. Many had speculated that Rush would be an established Batman villain, maybe Jonathan Crane, aka the Scarecrow, Julian Day, aka the Calendar Man, or Dr. Hugo Strange. At the end of The Penguin, Dr. Julian Rush is revealed to be Dr. Julian Rush, the same creepy doctor he's been all along. He's still at Arkham, so there's still time for him to create a fear toxin or shave his head.
Sure.
But Dr. Rush might just be a more banal and believable villain, a medical professional who used his training to manipulate women. So it could just be another made-up character and not go any of those directions, what they're saying.
I can't see Hugo Strange. Not with him.
No.
I can definitely see Crane, but I can't see Hugo Strange.
I can see. I don't see it being a nobody. If it was gonna be a nobody, they would have chosen a no-name actor to come in and just play this role and do what you got. Blah blah blah. We're over. But they're using like somebody who's already established for this, so I could absolutely see him being a villain moving forward. He already kind of is, because like let's not like skate around it. He enjoys having Sophia in Arkham, where he has like a certain level of control over her. Like, yeah, sure, he was outside and everything else, and he did all that, and he's tied up, and they have like the sexual relationship going on, but he enjoys the control in Arkham. Like, that's just like, you see it. It's crazy. It's crazy.
My speculation is Scarecrow, but that's just my speculation.
It makes, I mean,
it makes more sense than anything else. If we're looking at villains in the Batman universe.
It does. Especially like, you don't have to do the sack. You don't have to do the gas. All you have to do is like is be a villain that relies on the psychological of it all, and that's who he is.
I think the mask is what makes the most sense, because without that, then it wouldn't be the Scarecrow, because that's why he's called the Scarecrow, is primarily because of the mask.
Yeah, but that doesn't need to happen immediately, though.
It doesn't.
No. I think that it should. I think that it needs to happen at some point, though. He needs to. He needs to don that. If he does become Scarecrow, he would need to don the Scarecrow burlap sack, for lack of better words, to be the Scarecrow, because without that, it wouldn't be Scarecrow.
Sure.
It'd be like saying, "Hey, I'm Batman," but not having a bat suit. It would just be weird.
Right.
It's his costume. So to have the mask, he would need to have the mask. The question is, did we like Cillian Murphy as a Scarecrow? And if we did, do we think that if he becomes a Scarecrow, that he'll add up to the way Cillian Murphy was the Scarecrow? I thought he did a great job.
I liked it.
But I think I think what's clear is the universe that this Batman is in. They're doing some things different purposefully so that you don't think about other movies and start comparing characters, because this Batman way different than Christian Bale. This Penguin way different from DeVito. You know, even when
Right.
you go back to the Batman, Selena Kyle, way different from what was her name? What's her name in
Pfeiffer?
Selena Kyle,
no. Oh my god. Oh my
Nicole
god.
Kidman.
From Dark Knight Rises.
Oh, Anne Hathaway
Anne
Yeah.
Hathaway, like or Michelle Pfeiffer. Like all of these
or Halle
characters, all
or
of
Halle
these
Berry.
yeah, well, just all of
We
these
don't talk
characters
about that.
all of these characters inside of this universe is way different than anything else that we've seen. Like it's a completely
Yeah.
different spin on a lot of these DC characters. I don't think it's going to
They're
take
more
away from
because they're
I don't think it's going to
they're
take
more
away
set
from
in
anything
reality.
Cillian Murphy. Yeah, I don't think it's going to take anything away from what Cillian Murphy did. I just think it's going to be a completely different feel and look. That's why, I'm not opposed to the idea of maybe this, version of Scarecrow doesn't wear a mask. Maybe it's literally just a drug that enhances like the euphoria and that strobe light straight out of Knight Rider. Like that's really all that it takes. And he's
Yeah, I'll
terrifying.
be honestly, I would be disappointed if they didn't do a mask though, because here's the thing is like even when they did Joker, if they didn't give him the face of Joker, we would have been like he's not the Joker,
Sure.
even though it's a completely different spin. If they want to use a different drug than a gas, if they want to use a light and another psychedelic, that's fine. But he would still have to don the mask, in my opinion. And as much as we
Okay.
try not to compare them, the comparison. Here's the thing. Here's how I compare it: is when you look at every Batman movie up until Dark Knight, until the Nolan trilogy, it was set in this mystical, crazy, weird world where nothing made sense.
Yeah.
The Dark Knight trilogy brought it into a sense of realism that we've never had before. It hit reality more than anything else.
Right.
Sure.
This movie, The Batman, brought it into another level of reality more than the Batman than the Dark Knight trilogy did. It's more
Yeah.
realistic than even the Dark Knight trilogy. And because I mean, he like even when he does the flying through the air in the squirrel suit and he hits the bridge and he falls and he gets hurt, like it makes sense. Christian Bale was throwing hooks up into the sky and hitting a plane and then getting ripped out of a building. I mean, he was still doing some pretty unrealistic things.
Yeah, it was
and at least
with the balloon.
at least in the Batman, the things that he does, it still is grounded
The
more
squirrel
in reality.
True.
That makes sense. That
the
makes
flying
sense.
squirrel suit.
Yeah.
But they
Yeah, it
actually
does.
have flying squirrel suits.
Yeah.
I know.
And
I know.
and they did that in a way where it's more grounded in reality because and I mean I started watching it again the other night and I haven't finished it because it is a long movie. But it's funny because he starts off where the governor, the election happens and the guy gets his head beat in by the Riddler, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he's brought in by Detective Gordon, not commissioner. He's not commissioner yet.
Mm-hmm.
So and all the cops are like, "You freak!" to Batman, like, "You freak, you weirdo," and I'm like, you know what? Seeing him in all the other Batman movies, you're like, it fits. Seeing him in this, when how grounded in reality they made the Batman, you're like, it's kind of true. This guy's kind of just walking around in a black suit with a cape
Yeah.
and a mask in
Yeah.
the middle of
That's it.
Yeah.
he's kind of weird.
Yeah.
It kind of hit reality more than you do in the other movies,
it's what makes
and I appreciate that.
it's what makes Batman so awesome is that yeah, he goes out and he fights crime, but he's just as insane as everybody else that he's locking up. He's
Right.
Oh, yeah.
just as out of his mind, if not more so.
Yeah.
So
He
yeah,
wants to get nuts. Let's get nuts.
sure. Okay.
Rich nuts.
Okay.
Rich
The
and nuts.
the only other real thing that I want to bring up is we kind of talked about it before, but not fleshed it out. Yeah, Penguin is creepy mama's boy.
Yes.
Oh,
His mother's just as bad though. Like you get the whole scene when they're dancing in the club and she's like, I can't do this by myself. You're gonna have to take care of me and you're gonna do A, B, and C. And she's like pleading to him, even though he's like what, 8? And she's like pleading to him as if he was a grown man. Like and just the whole thing and their whole dynamic, who's my big bull of a boy? Like, oh my god,
Yeah.
like she's not any better.
No.
Nope.
She's not any better. So I don't know. It's just like
Well, that's why he is the way that he is.
he's a product of his environment, yeah.
Right.
100%.
I mean, he am whatever she say he am. And if he wasn't, then why would he say he am? Every minute, every hour, every day he am. I don't know. That's just the way he am. I haven't heard that song in 20 years. I can't believe that.
I don't
I'm
know
so
what he's
lost.
talking about either. I'm
Eminem.
Yeah.
That was an Eminem song.
Oh.
Jeez.
Really?
I don't listen to Eminem. You know what's crazy though is I will say the kid that they used to cast as Oz Cobb when he was a kid, the way
Good
he
choice.
talked sounded just like him. He
Yeah.
acted just like him. I was like, this was a perfect match.
Yeah.
They did a really, really, really good job doing that. And
No,
I appreciate it looks like there is a teaser trailer up for the Batman 2.
Oh, what, today? Right now?
No, I'm just saying.
Oh, wait. Are you sure?
Yeah.
Are you sure it's real, Truck?
I don't know. I said
Yeah.
it looks like. I haven't.
Well, I guess we'll sort that out.
Batman 2 teaser trailer.
If you see sparkly vampire for a second, you know it's just reused footage and it's fake.
This is a month old.
So, yeah.
Okay, I'm looking at one of the thumbnails for this that he's talking about. This is a month old, and Pattinson is standing nose to nose with Joaquin Phoenix. Absolutely not.
Okay.
Joaquin Phoenix. That's not the one I'm looking at.
Okay. I'm not.
Oh yeah, that one. Yeah, that one is a month old. Yeah, I've seen that one too.
I'm all set with. I'm all set.
Did
with
you
any
guys
of
see the
these.
thing I sent you? That was Michael Keaton and Christopher Reeves doing a team up.
Yeah.
Wasn't that cool looking? They did a really good job. I was very impressed.
It was impressive.
I was very, very impressed.
It was impressive.
You know, that's it's hard to see them cut it and then he walks into the party. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm looking for Bruce Wayne. Oh, I don't know where he is. You know, like his little goofy Michael Keaton-ness. And then he's like, oh, well, I've heard a lot about you. You know, it was really, I was very impressed. I mean, obviously, as we go on, deep fakes and CG is going to get better and better.
Yep.
But I mean, it's nice to just like live in that fantasy for 48 seconds and just.
I don't think that was deep. I don't think that was deep fakes. I think they just took two different movies and then spliced them together.
Yeah.
I don't think it was either. I'm just saying, with what we have for technology nowadays, we can do a lot of stuff like that and make it look better and better, like it meant to be there. And they did. I thought that's like, of all the things I've seen of fake baloney stuff, that was pretty good.
It was good. It was good.
It fit.
It's totally unrealistic that they would have been on the same screen together. Like, you want to talk about.
But could you imagine if they did, though? But could you imagine if they did?
Yeah.
That would.
It would be awesome.
It would be awesome.
Oh,
it would be awesome.
It would be phenomenal.
Oh,
I would love to actually. I would have preferred that over Henry Cavill and what's his name?
Ben
Affleck. Yeah.
Martha, why'd you say that name?
Did we just become best friends?
Oh
yep.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I don't know. Yeah. I ain't got very much else to talk about when it comes to Penguin.
I was, you know what? I geeked over it the whole time, and I love that they didn't introduce the Batman at all until the very, very, very end when they showed the symbol in the sky.
Same.
Perfect.
Yeah.
No mention of Batman. No mention of Wayne. Nothing throughout the entire thing. It was perfect.
It would have been like if Mandalorian never brought in Luke Skywalker.
Right.
True. Don't even talk about
No need.
No, there's
Don't
no
even
need.
talk about
There
him.
was no need.
You can allude.
Although,
You can allude to it, and you can allude like they did in this show. They alluded to it at the very end, but then leave it at that.
sure,
You don't need to
100%.
keep bringing in the main. If you have to bring if you're doing a spin-off, and I think they did a really really good job in this. If you're doing a spin-off and you have to bring in the parts of the show that you're spinning off from, like the main character, to make the spin-off work, then the spin-off should never be done in the first place. It will
100%
fail.
agree with you. I 100% agree
This
with you.
this one did it perfect because you did
Yes.
not have to bring in anything
Nope.
except for the name for Salvador and Maroni.
Yeah.
You brought in those two. You brought in the two main villains,
Sure.
the two mob bosses, outside because you're dealing with the mob world.
Yes.
Outside of that, nothing in the DC world is brought up in this show, and you know it's a Batman show. You
Yes.
know it's from the Gotham universe,
Yes.
and it is so well done.
No, there's not even a mention of like Riddler or Joker or any of like the over and top insane villains that like DC has to offer. Nothing. No, and even when they do,
back of the Batman and knowing Riddler's there, that's not even brought up.
even when they do tap dance on it, they leave so much up in the air. The couple of times that where Penguin said, "Oh, that madman, look what he did to the city." You don't know who he's talking about. Is he talking about Batman or is he talking about Riddler? We don't know. It could be either one of them. It's brilliant. It was amazing the way that they did it. The one hiccup that I do kind of have is I refuse to believe that this explosion happened and Batman does not take notice.
Yeah.
I refuse that. I'm kind of like,
well, they might explain that in the Batman.
Or he did, and we just don't. We're just not introduced to that part of it.
Sure, but there's a whole nother episode that takes place like after that event happens, where a lot is going on throughout the city, and I'm just like, this explosion happened. There's literally a mob war going on in Gotham. Penguin is absolutely out of his mind. I look at all that and. You know what? And maybe you're right. Maybe they'll address it later, and I hope that they do, because I just for Batman not to take notice of everything that's going on in this show is kind of a stretch for me. Because I
think he could have taken notice. We're just not introduced.
We're
to
not
him
introduced to it.
100%.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I do love that the show doesn't even talk about it. Nothing. It was
and it works.
It works so well.
So this for a mini series. So there's a few mini series I really fell in love with. This is up there. I know it's a different class and a different category of mini series, but this is up there with Chernobyl for me.
Sure.
This is on the same level of quality as Chernobyl. It's fantastic.
Yes.
It's fantastic.
It's certainly, and I'll say it, it's certainly better than anything Marvel has done. Leaps and bounds better than anything that Marvel has done recently. So they have that going for them. I don't know. I just love it. And
if they keep this dark, ominous DC, atmosphere going, even if they try to introduce a Superman to a series like this, I think that they'll find a way to make it work. Even though Superman's not the dark, ominous, he's more the bright blue, stars and stripes kind of character.
The big blue Boy Scout.
Sure.
They could actually introduce him to this and do a good job. And I look forward to where they're going with this.
Yeah, so do I. I know I've said it before, but this world, this franchise, this series in particular, I don't know. Call me call me the guy that likes the villains, go for it. I want to see Injustice. That's like I'm dying to see it.
Everybody does.
The way that this world would handle Injustice. I think it would be fantastic.
It would be amazing.
Yeah.
It would be amazing.
Because and no offense, I like Superman's not my favorite at all, but I'm just like I'm tired of the big blue Boy Scout. I'm
Yeah.
tired of, the do-gooder. I'm tired of that version of Superman. I want something else. And what you got in like that Justice League movie where he's all of a couple of minutes fighting everybody off, like,
Hey,
yeah, okay,
those
that was
couple of
cool.
minutes were really awesome,
It was
though.
really awesome.
That scene where he was just like
I want
was
a movie.
nuts.
I want a movie of that. I want that. That's all
Yeah,
I want right
I
now out of
agree.
what they're
I
doing.
completely
I
agree.
think it would be amazing. And I've already said it. This is my favorite Gotham. This
That's
Gotham looks
fantastic.
incredible. It looks incredible. And just like the
What I
scene
don't
where the explosion happened and like Penguin is literally like rising from the ashes was a fantastic visual. Like just the
Oh,
camera work,
yeah.
in that alone. He's covered in dust. There's chaos. People are dead. He's making his way through it. Even like the camera and audio work where he digs the thing out of his ear and everything like sonically becomes like alive again is like even small
Yeah.
things like that they're paying attention to. I just
Yeah.
What I didn't like in the Justice League movies, or even Batman versus Superman, is that Gotham was directly across the river from Metropolis.
Yeah. Hey, look.
Like there's nowhere on this planet where two huge cities like that
Are
are
right next to each
literally
other.
are right next to each other. It's like New
No.
York and
Well,
Boston, like separated
Yeah.
by the
well,
Hudson. It
the
just
best thing
doesn't work.
about it is, like, there's always clouds over Gotham, but no clouds over Metropolis.
Sure.
Metropolis is always, it's always, well lit.
Yeah. Yeah.
But Gotham is, when you cross over the river, everything changes. That I wasn't a fan of because you have Superman. You don't need it to be across the river. You can have it be 2 states away, and Superman can still get there.
True.
But yeah,
True.
I think overall, I I
Yeah.
I hope they don't do another Penguin miniseries. They don't
I
need to do
don't
a
think
part
they
2.
will before they get into the movie.
They would have to
No,
do the movie first if they're going to do anything else. If they're going to do anything else with Penguin this character, they would have to do the movie first because that's like the next big
Right.
step.
right. And I
That's
think
the
that
next big
unlike
step.
Marvel, I think to your point, Lee, Will, is Marvel tried doing a movie and then they started introducing the TV shows to introduce the next movie. I think this was done better than anything that Marvel did as a connection from a movie, a TV show to another movie. Like
Sure.
they did WandaVision, which is great, but there's still so many things open from that TV show. And that TV show was what? That movie came out? A
WandaVision
TV show?
yeah, WandaVision the show did not WandaVision the show did not translate very well to Doctor Strange the film.
No.
They would
Not just that.
yeah.
Right. And not
It
just
did
Not at
that,
all.
but even White Vision. Where the heck is White
Yeah,
Vision? It's been
true.
He's
4
in What If
years.
Season 3,
That's a cartoon.
but it's canon.
It's a cartoon.
No, it's a cartoon.
But
is
it's
not
canon.
Yeah.
And they call it all canon. They
yeah.
have
I don't care what they're doing. No.
I didn't even watch any of them. I watched like 3 episodes of the first season of What If, and that was all I've watched.
Really?
I didn't watch any of it.
You should, because they're actually really good.
Mm,
No desire.
nah.
I really enjoyed what they
Yeah,
did with it.
nah.
I
Yeah, but you like a lot of the anime. You like the Rogue. You like
What?
not anime, the animation. You like the Star Wars
What?
Rogue. You like the animation.
No. I am no. Will knows. No. I don't like anything anime. Like
No. You again.
I'm
You
anti
like
is what I am. That's what I
no.
am.
I didn't finish the word.
I know,
Again,
but
you
animation
like-
stuff, I'm not into it. I'm not into it. I forced myself through it because I knew somewhere there must have been a good story.
But you
I
also
don't get
like
into.
all the Star Wars animation as well too.
I just said I'm not into the animated stuff. I forced myself through it to get the story. I don't like animated things. I prefer live action things. I always have. But I forced myself through it because I knew that Star Wars was moving towards using that stuff as canon, and that's the only reason why I watch any of the Clone Wars stuff.
I don't
But no,
understand. I don't
I
understand
don't sit
how.
there and
I don't understand how not only Marvel but like fans like you are like, well, they said it's canon, so it must be canon. It's like, Chuck's right. It's a cartoon. There's
but
no telling
but I'm
stories of
not
like
gonna
what if this happened? What if these were the events? What if this was the
but then
scenario? And
look
it's
what
like,
happens when we watch
no,
something like Multiverse of Madness and we get Captain Carter and all these characters that were introduced in What If, and we're like, oh boy, like this is a real thing. Okay.
I love that you're using one of the worst MC movies to like try to illustrate your point.
I'm using that because that's what came out afterwards,
But
which was baloney, absolute garbage. I
sure,
get it.
yeah,
I know.
okay.
Like, let's spaghettify the best fan casting we had and just be like, meh, whatever.
So,
Yeah, it was garbage, but I'm not going to say it
But my
wasn't
point is
canon.
this. But my point is this, though, is I went into Multiverse of Madness not watching the What If, and I didn't miss anything.
no,
I know.
you don't
I
miss
haven't
You know
missed a
why you didn't
single
miss
anything.
thing
anything? 'Cause I
from.
kept going like, oh, this is in this. This is in that.
That's not
That's
why
who
I didn't
Captain
miss it.
Carter is.
Yeah,
I
but
don't
I
know.
don't care who
It
Captain Carter is. They'll introduce it in the movie if they want to, and then that's what matters.
it,
The
I
2 seasons of What If, all
It's not what
16
matters.
episodes, they don't matter. They don't
No.
matter.
they
They're
don't
None of
not
it
matter.
canon.
matters. The point is now you can watch anything from the MCU or Star Wars, anything from the past like 8 years of Marvel, and you can just take it with a grain of salt.
Sure.
Because if anybody's going to come in there and fix it, it's all going to be decanonized because it's garbage.
I no.
That's the point. So anything we've seen, whether it's animated, whether it's live action, we just have to go, well, we had a good run. And maybe they might fix it someday, but otherwise it's dead.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, okay, I'll still watch it for
I'm glad
whatever.
You know
he's.
what? But you know what? You know what though? I am really happy that like one of the biggest criticisms that all of us had for DC when they were trying to like get this thing started is they jumped right into Justice League. They didn't take a whole lot of time to like build any of these characters.
They should have given
Now
us a Batman movie.
now things are kind of starting to turn around where we have an origin for Batman. We have an origin for Joker, if you even want to. We have somewhat of an origin for Penguin. So it's like they are telling stories about these characters individually, which was a big problem that a lot of people had with DC a while ago. And I
Yeah.
know that Joker doesn't necessarily fit there. Like I
No.
get it, it doesn't. But the fact remains that DC listened to that criticism and they're spending a lot of time meditating on a lot of these characters, even if they're not going to string them together. It's still a better way to do things. I
Right.
don't want to see. I don't want to see like immediately a whole bunch of characters just thrown together on the screen for the sake of just doing it and going, well, here's the show and here's the movie and all right. Like, no, all of these
I
characters
actually
deserve their
appreciate.
own
Right. And I
thing.
actually appreciate the trilogies and the of Batman trilogy, Superman trilogy, Penguin Saga,
Sure.
little mini series, and never doing a Justice League movie. It wouldn't bother me to not see a full Justice League movie because
No.
it it's it becomes too big at that point. And then you have to go somewhere with it. And they tried doing that, to your point. They gave Wonder Woman a movie, they gave Aquaman a movie, they gave Superman a movie. They
They
should have
gave
done.
Aquaman 2 movies, they gave Wonder Woman 2 movies, they gave Batman no movies.
No movies.
The problem the
Well,
but the
Batman
problem
versus Superman.
the
I
problem
don't
with
count that.
no, neither do I.
No.
Batman v Superman, no. I,
No.
they
That was a
they
Justice League movie.
they jumped the gun on Justice League. That's
Right.
that was
They
a
jumped the gun on Batman v Superman.
yeah, 100%. They went
They needed to
way
build
too
that up and
far.
they did not.
Not at all.
Yes, what they should have done is the way that they brought Wonder Woman in that movie at the very end. They should have brought Wonder Woman and Superman in at the end of the movie and just made it a Batman movie. if they wanted to introduce them at the end. I
The
mean, use
idea that they
Batman
clearly
because
had
Batman
was
is the one who kind of puts the league together anyways, even in the comics.
the idea they were clearly going for is we've had so many Batman movies. They didn't want to make a Batman movie. They didn't. They're like, we've seen enough of who Batman is. Let's just move on. Like, we've already established who this guy is. Let's let him meet some other people.
Right.
But we had a ton of
If you watch
we
the
had
other
an
Batman
equal
movies,
amount of
like watch
Superman movies too.
watch the original 4 Batman movies, starting with Keaton on to Clooney, and then watch the ones. I know
I would
whatever.
I would
I know. I'm just saying, like, watch all of them, and they've never interacted with other superheroes. It was always them against villains. This is and that was that. But this is the first time that they were interacting with another superhero from like another IP, if you will, from that universe. And they're like, well, we've already told this story, so let's just say that everything you ever seen from Batman is some kind of like it could have like somehow
You know what the
combined into
problem
this
is?
one that we see.
You know what the
They
problem?
were just moving on. They didn't want to reinvent the wheel.
The problem is that DC doesn't have like the villain that demands the attention of the Justice League. Like the cartoons did it differently. The cartoons was like, this guy robbed a bank. Let's all spring into action, gang, and they all go get him. Like that was the cartoon. Like
Darkseid is that villain though.
Exact, but he's the only one.
Yeah.
There's not
Yeah.
like
Doomsday is that villain.
No, Doomsday is not that like I would say Darkseid or even like a
Doomsday
Steppenwolf.
is that villain. In the comics, Doomsday is that they dumbed down Doomsday in Batman versus Superman.
The point is
they turned him into Abomination.
The point is that when you look at Marvel, there's a plethora of like alien villains to come in that is going to like decimate Earth and whatever, and it demands.
We never got to see Brainiac.
Sure, and it demands the attention of everybody on the Avengers. Like that was the point. In DC, like you got one or two like big bads that like demand the attention of everybody. Aside from that, it's all like your Penguins or your Lex Luthors. And it's like, no, the hero specific to this pocket is going to deal with this problem. You don't need everybody to do it. It would be overkill.
But you don't need more than one or two. I mean, with the Avengers, it took what 12 years to get through one, where they all came together.
Sure,
one.
Yeah.
But it's
outside of that.
But you
wasn't like
you had other things going on where you had Loki, you had Ultron, you have Thanos. There are other villains out there in the galaxy that like you have a lot more to work with than DC has to work with.
But you could do that like with Injustice. You could do that with Brainiac.
You could do that with Injustice. I don't think you could do that with Brainiac.
I'm saying like where he is the one-off bad guy. You could do that with someone like him.
Sure.
But
like even yeah. Sure. Yeah.
Or what's his name? Not Brainiac, but what's the evil Superman?
Bizarro.
Sure.
Yeah.
You could do something like that. But I think the one thing where I would go a little bit different than what Lisa about the whole Batman thing is they had more IPs around Superman, TV shows, movies, and anything Batman at that point, and they still did a Man of Steel movie. So they could have done another Batman in origin like they did with Superman.
Sure.
True, but they don't count TV shows the way that they count movies.
You have 4 Batman movies, 5 Superman movies.
Mm-hmm. They had 4 Batman movies plus 3 Batman movies. And 5 Superman movies.
And
that's 7 and 5.
Which is.
And then they had 10 years of Smallville, 4 years of Lois and Clark.
You had
so much more.
Nobody cared about TV shows back then. It didn't count. It wasn't until the MCU started making things tie in that people cared.
Yeah.
People didn't care and did not tie things in anymore at that point. It had to be, if a movie was a movie, it was its own separate thing. TV and movies were not connected until MCU did it.
There is nothing origin. There was Plenty of
isn't.
origin with Superman.
We're talking about like currently, like today, like the way that the way that DC is going. There is nothing about Lois and Clark or Smallville that is being referenced like today.
No, none of those movies. No, what I'm trying to say is what Lee said is the reason why they didn't do a Batman origin story is because the Batman origin story had been done so many times.
I
What I'm
wasn't
trying to say,
justifying it. I
I
agree
know,
they should have done it. I'm just saying, like, that was most likely their reason for doing it, and I don't
because that
agree
to
with
me
it.
just doesn't make sense because they had plenty of origin stuff for Superman, and they still did a Superman movie, and they still
I
did a
know.
Wonder Woman movie, and they still did an Aquaman movie.
Well, how
They
many Wonder Womans have we had
true.
besides what Linda Carter
Linda
back in
Carter.
the
Yeah,
70s, a TV show, you
right.
know? So
It's
nothing for her. Aquaman, nobody wanted to see Aquaman. But hey,
it's
they got a dude who was like, let's just take the opposite of what Aquaman is. Let's get this like jacked guy who's like man's man. He's drinking beers and hanging out in a lighthouse and blah 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 with Boba Fett. You know,
yeah.
like that's the guy I want to see as Aquaman. And he comes, he's like, heck yeah, brother. You know, like, all right, that guy's cool. I'll take it. So they reinvented Aquaman, but they weren't gonna reinvent the Big Blue Boy Scout. They kind of did, but
Oh, they
not really.
reinvented they reinvented Superman in this movie.
Yeah, his
He's
hair was
totally
curlier.
different. No. He's totally different in this. He is the same Clark Kent and Superman. He is not different. He does not play two different characters. He is the same
I know, that's my point.
every
He's the
time.
same.
I don't know.
I know.
But
I think what this comes down to is DC made mistakes, and now
yes,
DC is
And so did MCU.
rectifying some of those mistakes. So,
yes.
and even if DC does want to go down the road of like, you know what, maybe they don't have to create a universe. Instead, let's just take all of these characters and focus a little bit. This company's gonna
Yeah.
do this. That company's gonna do that. That studio's gonna take care of over, and that's just the way that things are gonna be. I don't need the ensemble. I'd rather not have it. If I'm being honest, I'd rather not have the ensemble. I like the way that things
Each
are going right
individual.
now. Yeah, I like the way that
That's
things
how
are
it's
going
been.
right now.
That's how it's always been until MCU. And
MCU.
I've been fine without the universe. The crossovers that like WB did, I was fine with
Those are
that
fun.
those are fun.
Yeah,
Crossover every once in a while, but don't make a giant universe out of it.
sure.
But they tried to because there was a point where a lot of people were like, "Oh, I didn't watch Legends of Tomorrow, so I need to watch all of that and catch up before I watch this crossover or Supergirl." And I'll tell you this, I fought hard to get through Supergirl season 1. And I tried to push my way through season 2 and I'm like, I couldn't do it. I was 3 episodes and I'm like, I'll just watch the crossovers and hope they fill in the gaps. And they did enough.
Yeah,
You can get through it and that's
you're
fine.
good. Yeah.
It was very interesting they got the both guys from Prison Break to be in there as like,
Yeah.
Fire Dude and Mr.
Mr.
Captain
Cold.
Cold or whatever. I'm
Yeah.
like, okay. I'm like, what weren't these guys in that show I never watched? Yeah. I
Yep.
mean, one of them was Dracula, right? Drake,
And
the big
Blade
dude
Trinity. And
in
Blade
Trinity.
Trinity.
Yeah. Yeah. That's what I knew him from way before Prison Break. Anyway,
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, they're gonna do what they're gonna do, and we're gonna watch it one way or another.
Yeah.
But
Of
I
course.
will say I am excited that Andor season 2 is actually happening, and it's happening not so long from now.
Mm.
So
Mm-hmm.
I've
I
seen
can't wait to make some money.
Yeah, okay.
But with that being said, I'm ready to we've been on here for almost 2 hours now,
Yeah.
so
Yep, 1 hour,
this is
59 minutes, and 19 seconds.
Okay,
this is
okay.
longer than our typical talking nonsense, so
Yeah,
Well,
got a lot of content to talk about tonight though, so
yeah.
true.
All
but
right.
Very true.
all right guys. Everyone, thanks for tuning in and we'll catch you on the flip side.
Toodaloo. What?
Just let him have it.
Bye,
Just let him
everybody.
have it.
Bye. I'm done. Bye.
Bye.